Say it with me. I am worthy of God's love. This thought just came to me, like all my other thoughts. I think that being raised in the church, and I think just being raised in this world, you know, some of the ways that you have been taught, I have really been seeking God and asking God and just challenging them, you know, just to get understanding. And so it's almost like for me, I was raised with this understanding that I'm not worthy of God's love. I'm not worthy. And this was the posture that was encouraged growing up in church. And, you know, this self-loathing, this false humility, you know, type of thinking that, you know, in order for me to get God's attention, I had to have a lowly mind. And I feel like a lowly mind, you know, has nothing to do with you, you know, being a beggar to God. Like being a beggar. Like I remember I used to take the scripture with the tax collector, and the tax collector was beating on his chest and said, "Have mercy on me, God." And it's like, I think that I took that scripture, I understood that scripture wrong, you know, and not saying that, you know, that particular scripture doesn't have any truth in it. No, I think that my understanding was just, there was some lack of understanding there. But what I can say is that a lowly of mind, what I am starting to feel or believe is that you know who you belong to. You know your identity. And it doesn't mean that you have to walk in this self-loathing, always, you know, beating yourself up, or always reminding yourself, or always saying things like, you know, I'm not worthy of your love. That's not, you know, being lowly of mind, in my opinion. I believe being lowly of mind is understanding that your worthiness doesn't come from the things that you do, but your worthiness comes from who you belong to. And I think the scripture that comes to mind for me is, you know, I can come boldly, you know, before the throne of grace. I think that's what it is. Y'all check that. Y'all fact check that one. And so coming boldly to God doesn't, you know, mean that you come haughty, you know, but coming boldly means you just know who you are. You know your identity. You know that, you know what, God's love for me has nothing to do with what I ever do, but because of who he is and because of his choice. And so when I think of the words, I'm not worthy, I reject that now, because I am worthy. I am worthy of God's love. I do deserve God's love. You know why? Because he said so. That's it. Period. It has nothing to do with, you know, what I've done or what I don't do. It's because purely he said so. You know, when the scripture says, for God so loved the world, like, God loved us before we even knew him. You know, God wanted to love us. God desired to love us, because that's just his choice. He is love. He can't help but to love you. And you're worthy of it. And your worthiness is a gift that's been given to you by him. Not because of all the good things you do or all the good things you say, or it's because of what he's given you. And you can take ownership of that. Not feeling like, oh, I have to earn this. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to earn worthiness. It's a gift. Worthiness is a gift that God gives you. you know, God had you in mind before the foundations of the universe, before the foundations of the earth. You know, you lived in him before he even spoke you out. You were right here in his heart. So you were already worthy of his love. He already wanted to give it to you. So to say someone's not worthy of love, I don't agree with that statement, because I believe that they are worthy of love. They do deserve love. And it's not because, you know, of what we think worthiness comes from, but it's because God said so. It's simple. Just like the gospel. The gospel is very simple message. But it's been convoluted. It's been, you know, so much confusion in understanding it. It's a very simple message. Same thing as the message of worthiness. The message of worthiness is very simple, because God said so. Why am I worthy? Because God said so. Doesn't that take the burden off of you to feel like you have to do, feel like you have to earn? If you're somebody that struggles with like performance-based behavior like me, you always feel like you have to give something of yourself in order to receive. And that's not how God works, you know, when it comes to his love. He just gives it to you because it's free, you know? And it doesn't cheapen it because it gives it to you for free. It's very valuable, you know, because it comes from a valuable source. The source never loses its value just because it gives it out for free, you know? But I hope that it resonates with somebody. You are worthy of love. You are deserving of love. And it's because God said so. That's it. Nothing else. All right, you guys. Love you.